The Sons of the Celestial Empire of China. The story of the sons of heaven descending from the stars, landing their spaceships in some parts of China, is reminiscent of many other instances where gods, quote unquote, came from space and civilized Earth. We have this in the ancient Greek mythology. The gods of Olympus came down from the skies. We have this in the Native American legends of the Anu. We have this in the Syrian legends of the Anunnaki. We have this in South America. We have this in Egypt. Now, the aspects of the story that we'll mention briefly focuses on its main points comes from the book of Tao Chan, Tiwen, Shi Che, from the Guan Dictionary, from the writings of Wang Chun, from the imperial genealogies of Si Ben, and from other sources. In today's terminology, they clearly show that there were 3 major landing sites and operations of the ancient astronauts in China 4,000 or 5,000 years ago. So again, we see that these ancient Chinese annals, and we know that the Asians were very, very adept in recording everything. They had similar backgrounds to what, for example, here the ancient Olympian gods of ancient Greece, the Egyptian gods, the Anu and the Anunnaki. The same thing goes here. So it seems that these extraterrestrials came and landed in various locations of the Earth. These were the Gobi Desert, the Kwanlun Mountains, and the Huanghe Yellow River Valley in central China, where these extraterrestrial, quote-unquote, ancient alien gods landed in China. A bright star fell one day in the Gobi Desert. They also saw bright dragons, fish, and fantastical turtles in the sky. Without a doubt, all of these were spaceships of various types. Let's remember that about 330 BC, even Alexander the Great, who had heard of UFOs, took his army and went into the Gobi Desert in order to see where these supposed extraterrestrials, UFOs, were. He lost 10,000 of his army going into this Gobi Desert. Now, Taklamakan. Now, according to the bright stars of the Gobi Desert, the bright dragons, fish, fantastic turtles, obviously these were spaceships of these extraterrestrials. Their astronauts, Huang Ti, Chan Se, and Chi Yu, are described as 4-eyed humans. These writings confused the Confucian sages centuries later because these people apparently could not grasp the existence of the space helmet with the 2 possibly portholes that from within looked into the eyes of the astronauts. Another astronaut they named Feng Che, arrived in a flying fish from the constellation of Leo. Xian Huan, or Regulus, which we occasionally mention, is 77 light years away from us. That is, to get from here to there, he had to travel at the speed of light for 77 consecutive years. The ancient chronicle says that in its flight, the astronaut was, quote, temporarily dead for 200 years. In other words, I guess he was in cryosleep. So it even reached the speed of light. It's obvious that Feng Che, the astronaut, was in a state of suspension of his animal functions during the space flight. Huang Ti civilized the Yellow River Valley and then returned to his celestial abode in Jianghuan, or Regulus, from where Feng Che came. So are these fairy tales, or are these science fiction of that time? Mythology, whatever? And yet the ancient Chinese chronicles are famous for their fidelity to events in general, but they're in particular in terms of astronomical nature with very accurate descriptions, for example, comets, etc. So why did they make mistakes in them? Were they mistakes? This is from the data from the Book of Ancient Astronauts, George H. Gall, Jacques Bergier, Cosmos Publications. And I've translated this for you from a Greek article. But let's go to I'll leave a link below for you concerning the astonishing ancient Chinese mythologies concerning images of gods through history in China. And they have gods having to do with the various myths. They have the monkey myth, governing official name Wu Cheng. And it's a famous monkey in China said to have been born out of a stone egg that came from a magic rock in the mountain of fruits and flowers. And according to mythology, Sun used to be the very naughty, eager to take over the world. And it took Buddha a lot of effort to tame him. The unicorn prophecy, myth of the unicorn prophecy, sprang up around the life of Confucius, introducing the unicorn, the Qi Lin, which is considered a sacred animal to the Chinese, and it bears little resemblance to the unicorn of European myths. During the 14th century, a real giraffe was sent to the imperial court, and many observers claimed that it was the reincarnation of the mythical Qi Lin, that is, a unicorn. Then you have stories of the moon goddess, Chang'o, or Chang'e, the Chinese goddess of the moon, subject of several legends in Chinese mythology. It revolves around Hu Yi, the archer, the elixir of life, benevolent emperor and the moon. And 10 suns rose to heaven and scorched the earth, threatening mankind's survival. The archer Yi shot down 9 of these suns and left only 1, and Yi was then rewarded with the elixir of immortality. One day when he was out hunting, his apprentice Feng Meng broke into his house, tried to get the elixir from Yi's wife and Chang'e, but Chang'e refused to give the elixir to Feng Meng, drank it all herself, and as she consumed it, she became weightless and flew upwards towards the heavens and stayed on the moon as a refuge. And you have other legends of the grand archers, those gods God Yu, who rebuilds the earth. The myth of Yu the Great is based on Chinese legends dating back 4,000 years. And like all demigods in ancient times, Yu the Great could change himself into different shapes whenever necessary. So he was a shapeshifter. He could transform himself into a bear, dragon, or a human, and he's considered to be the first to pass his status as ruler to his descendants, creating the first dynasty, the Xia dynasty. However, due to the lack of any archaeological evidence, the Xia dynasty still remains a myth. Then you have the water war. The Chinese water god is one of the frequently described characters in ancient Chinese mythology. Then you had Fuxi teaches the people, an ancient god who around 3000 BC, they were demigods, half god, half human, who lived among the people, taught them the rules of civilization. And Fuxi was the first ruler of this magical period about 5,000 years ago. And then again, it's the time of the arrival of these extraterrestrials. Now, Nuwa, the god Nuwa, who created people. Nuwa Aka Nugua, the goddess of humankind, one of the most popular characters in ancient Chinese mythology, and accordingly created mankind, repaired the pillar of heaven, and broke corners of earth, which Gong Gong destroyed in a fit of anger. And another god, Pangu creates the world. The earliest Chinese mythology containing many stories of wondrous rulers of ancient times, and Pangu probably the closest Chinese version of a creation myth. So I'll leave links below for you of ancient history lists of China. And please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. This is just one fascinating record of the various extraterrestrial, quote-unquote, ancient gods that this time arrived in China. So let's keep that in mind as well. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support, and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.